What is going, everybody? Huge welcome to the first ever Tom Talks. Today I have a very special guest for you. We have a good friend of mine. He's an outstanding rugby player, a great man, and he is actually very smart and an academic. I give to you, Jermaine Pepe. Jermaine, welcome, mate.
Thanks, Tom. What a privilege and honour to be your first guest on what hopes to be a bright future, and I'm excited to kind of kickstart your legacy and get things underway. So thank you.
Nah, cheers, bro. It's a pleasure to have you here. Obviously, you moved to New Zealand, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, 2 years ago now, actually.
Which is pretty cool. As for you, on a personal level, how did you decide to give up security and the home you had to move to somewhere that is, unknown and,
I guess it was more or less the thrill of the unknown, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Obviously coming to a new country, new school, meeting new people, trying rugby, which was a new sport to me at the time. That just fear of the unknown really got me going, and I think with the support from my family, definitely helped my decision to come over, and it's been all blessings from there, I guess.
Absolutely. Now, you started as a rugby league player, like your whole childhood you were into rugby league.
Yep.
And you came over, what's it like transitioning from rugby league to rugby?
Oh, I won't lie to the cameras, it was quite tough. There's obviously a lot of components of the game that you must be able to learn in order to progress, and it did take me a while to get my head around things, but I guess with the best coaches in the game, I think that really helped me progress as a player, on and off the field, as long as with the boys that I was around. It's a great environment, and I was privileged to, I guess, be around a bunch of boys that were just as keen as I was, to get in the gym and learn and excel.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. Well, I know last season, sure, being involved with the Rangita High School First 15, it was a fantastic season for the school standards, you might say, and
Definitely.
it was really cool to get started on, being a top 4 school and things like that and going up to primary. As for you on an individual level, what brings you so much motivation to everything you do? You seem to be so motivated, whether it's school, work, rugby. Where does that come from?
A lot of it obviously comes from my family. They came up, or they brought me up with not a lot, but it was enough for us. Obviously coming from a family with a lot of kids, meant that we were all competitive in whatever we chose, and especially with sports and whatever we did in life. One lesson that my mother always told me was, if you're going to do something, do it well.
Beautiful.
And that was just a quote that's always driven me to want to become better than anyone else, and top my league. So definitely family would be one of the strong components.
And what's it like, the motivation side of things comes into it, like you are away from your family for, you'd only see them probably 2 months, a year sort of thing, if that maybe, because, school holidays and things like that.
I think last year got like 2 weeks in.
Yeah, bro, exactly. So it's like, is that what keeps you motivated? It's like, okay, my family's on the other side of the ocean, like I gotta like do this for them in some sense.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
How does that work into it?
I think the fact that I'm not with them just shows how big of a decision it was to leave them. But in saying that, I knew that I had their full support and love, so it just made it a little bit easier in that sense. But you do go through tough times without family, and a lot of guys here won't understand what that's like. So I guess I kind of use that to my advantage, to kind of prepare myself for when times would get lonely, and I could really dig into myself to get some of the jobs done.
That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful. Because a lot of us, or at least probably 99% of us, we don't know what it's like living away from parents. Like we said, 22 out of 24 months, in 2 years, a 2 year span. And you lived with, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to say the last name, how that works, but I'll just say you lived with a really lovely family for 2 years. What was that like in terms of having a sort of a brother there and a sister, and things like that?
It had its ups and downs. I guess downs being that like it was only a brother and a sister. When we're such a big family.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be working with such a beautiful family definitely did help my journey. To get to where it is now. I think they had great morals as a family, and it just made it easier to kind of settle into the obviously new environment, new school, new sport.
Definitely.
And yeah, forever I'm grateful for what they've been able to give me.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Yeah. Like I know them really well, and I grew up playing rugby with, one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say his name, bro.
No, I think we'll just leave it off
Yeah,
now.
yeah. But like they are the kindest family, and they're so cool because the thing about that family environment is that they keep it so real in terms of it's not like you were staying with them for 2 years. You just fit in as a family member, and I saw that when I'd come around. That was so cool. So like, huge shout out to that family. They know who they are. If they're doing a fantastic job. Yeah, shout out. Yeah. So that's really cool. Now, you managed in your short rugby career, 2-year rugby career, to notch up some pretty cool achievements. I think the first thing I noticed was like probably midway through last year, 2018, you really started to show some really cool signs of being really dangerous on attack, and also being able to make really cool cover tackles. You made a name for yourself. I don't know how much you want to talk about yourself because I know you're a super humble dude. But like, how does that work? You got invited to certain camps and things like that. What was that like?
I guess it was more or less the credit to the coaches we had. Put myself in a good position to be able to play the brand of rugby that we wanted to play, and also credit to the boys as well, their drive and like their willingness to help me out when I needed it. Definitely showed on the field. But yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, obviously with the camps and all that. But like I said, it was all credit to the coaches and stuff.
True.
They really put me in that position.
Definitely. Yeah, because you ended up playing for the under-18 Crusaders and things like that, and even this year making the NZ Barbarians, which is pretty cool. Like,
it wasn't too bad.
There, you're kind of a semi-professional rugby player for those few weeks and things like that. Like, that's pretty awesome. Like, and also the resources you'd have at your disposal there. Did you go up? You were up in Palmy North?
Yeah, we're up in Palmy for about a week, and then we're up in Hamilton.
Yo.
Just preparing for the obviously 2 games, and yeah, the environment that they put you in. If that's anything like a professional environment, that's where a lot of us schoolboy rugby players dream to be.
Definitely.
So it was a great privilege and honour.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And you also played like your handful of touch and things like that as well. So that leads to like a seriously busy life. You got school on, you've got rugby, touch, even things like gym work, all that, and you also worked a part-time job as well. How do you, as a student, or for anyone that is busy, I guess a high school student, a university student, or just anyone in general that's busy but has a lot of hobbies or does a lot of things, how do you balance that and also balancing sleep and recovery?
There's a few things that, a few components, that I really depended on, and obviously it's different to everyone else, but for me it was definitely connections. So obviously my mates, like such as yourself, some other boys, time management. So that was really important, and I guess last year was all about learning about it, and then this year it was all about putting it into practice. So also it was finding time to be by yourself. I think that's important, especially as a high school student, with whatever commitments you might have. Like, it's always important just to sit down and kind of just chuck your legs up and be a teenager for a few hours.
Sure.
I think that goes a long way as well, and just always touching in with friends and family. That's important, because not only will you find out what they're going through in life, they get to find out a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, bro.
Which makes it easier to be able to express yourself in ways that people didn't think possible.
Definitely.
So that's important. But also just knowing that things will come when times due. I think a lot of kids nowadays just want this and want that now, but aren't willing to work for it. So patience as well goes a long way.
Patience.
And that's what I used, because you do go through dark times, especially with all the commitments you have. But it's only a grind getting you ready.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, yeah. Like the thing with like that whole balance of being a teenager, because a lot of teenagers have these huge ambitions, but it's also tricky because you want to party, you want to get out there and be social. As humans, we want to be social. We're social animals. How does that play into being a sort of a semi-high performance athlete? And like, you want to socialize, but often with socializing there can come pressures of drinking, alcohol, drugs, things like that. How does that work for you?
I guess like you obviously want to spend a lot of time with friends and with your friends and stuff. So I think it's important to realize that like your high school years are probably your most important years in terms of what you remember, and I think it was really good this year because I was able to have friends that supported me when I wanted to stay in. By versa, like going out. So there's a few weeks where like I knew rugby was really big for me, so like I'd rather stay in, and I had friends that supported me with that, which made it a lot easier, of course, because there was no peer pressure or anything like that. Obviously, because they supported who I was and what I wanted to be.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I felt like it worked two ways as well.
Definitely, bro. So you like surrounded yourself with people with, you'd say, similar ambitions, but people that also respected you in some ways, because it's tricky when you're a teenager because like everyone is doing one thing, like everyone's wanting to party, everyone's wanting to like look good, like do this, do that, like, and so it's tricky as a teenager or a young adult in general, to sometimes like take a step back and be like, yo, like I'm about that life because I need to be social, but at the same time, like I have other goals, other ambitions where I just wanna, I just want to do that, and it's tricky to balance that. I find like I'm similar to you, like I probably don't party as much as you, but at the same time, it's like you need to do it because of like just being social and like
just gets a lot of weight off your shoulders as well. Like you've been grinding for so long, and then all to see like your friends out and stuff like that. Like sometimes you do feel a bit left out, and obviously your mental health is important. So I think spending quality time with good friends goes a long way.
Definitely. Yeah, man. Like it is tricky, and it is one of the kind of the cool things about life. Like life throws so many challenges at you. Like regardless of your age, regardless of where you've come from, there's always challenges. And I think that's the cool thing. Like seeing you as like a mate. We met and like pretty instantly we clicked pretty easy. Like I was when we were, connection. Yeah, man. I was like saying to you before, like we clicked straight away. We were driving a touch. I think it was like February or something like that, 2018. It was like just an instant, like, oh, yo, this guy's like, he's cool. He can have a bit of fun, but at the same time, he still seems to have like enough values and morals, that I really dig, and I think that's cool as, yeah, man. So like, huge congratulations to you on everything that's like gone well so far, right?
Thanks for that, bro.
Yeah,
really, I appreciate it.
No, it's awesome. Like, man, like I was thinking, like, as someone coming over and playing rugby and things like that, you don't know anyone at all, like, and meeting new people. How do you sort of incorporate that into being who you are, but like not feeling the pressure to not be someone, be someone you're not, and like fit in and just do what they're doing? Like
it was pretty tough to start off with. Obviously coming to a new environment with a lot of people that I had no idea existed. A lot of it did come down to my morals, but knowing myself, like I'm all about first connections and what vibe I kind of get from a person, and like I felt like there's a few people that I definitely had a good connection with, and obviously they're still in my life today.
Yep.
So nothing to go against obviously people that I have good connections with, but like if you do surround yourself with people that have the same drive and passion as yourself, like you'll go a long way, and I truly believe that. With the decisions they make and the habits they have. So
yeah, absolutely. It's all about that, like, I don't know, surrounding yourself with those people, because I've kind of bought into this theory that, like, with social media and some terms, like, I think a lot of times as young people we can get stuck on scrolling through really negative stuff, and so all of a sudden your mindset becomes like, man, negative that, negative that, negative this, and it's really nasty. So something I was doing maybe 2 years ago was just scrolling through that negative stuff, and it's like, man, this is like it's killing me from the inside, you know. So like, and I came across this video of like just literally just go through and follow like all these positive people, because all of a sudden if you're spending like, I don't know, I think young people spend like 3 to 9 hours
Too
a day
much
on their phone,
time,
you know.
yeah.
So if you're watching like 3 to 9 hours a day of really positive stuff, then all of a sudden, you know, your mindset and your attitude is going to become that, which I think is really cool. Like for you, living in a different house, you know, obviously father figures are huge in terms of like a young man's bringing up and who he becomes, but you didn't have that, and what could arguably, we're just gonna cut that.
Yeah,
we'll cut. No, we won't cut it. But like from the ages of 17 to 18, you know, like fathers play a huge role in, you know, who I believe, you know, young men become. You didn't have that, you know. You had like almost this, you know, a father away from home and things like that. Like how do you manage that? Like, do you use social media? Do you have a mentor, like a manager? How do you?
Like, I guess from a young age, obviously not having a lot, and seeing how hard your parents worked for you, that was a big part of who I am today. Obviously, my dad used to provide for the family, and he worked long hours to do what he had to do. Obviously, to put food on the table and things like that. So that drive and the lessons he taught me, I was quite lucky because he taught me them really young.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was able to develop it into the person that I wanted to be. And I can 100% say that, like, I didn't need a father figure, because all the lessons that I needed to learn, I had already been taught.
Definitely.
And I think the good thing about it was he never had to tell me what the lesson was. I just learned it from his actions.
Definitely.
And just like basic lessons like working hard, being patient, knowing that things will come if you do work hard for
Definitely,
them.
bro.
Like, those are all lessons that I apply every single day
Yeah.
in order to become a better person.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was tough to see like a lot of other boys have father figures in their life, where mine was like a 4-hour plane ride.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Flight.
Yeah.
But I knew that all the lessons that I was going to learn, all the lessons that I had already learned, my father had given to me. And I was very lucky.
Definitely, yeah, bro. I love what you said there, and that was like, he never told you anything. Well, you know, he everything that you learnt was through his actions, you know, because that's what I feel sometimes happen is like we get caught up on like if it's just a friend on friend or a friend on mate, like, you know, do this, do that, but at the same time we don't role model that, and that's what I feel I've been very fortunate with my father, my dad, you know, that everything that he does, I feel like I kind of do it on a smaller proportion in some ways. Like I see him working hard, so it's like, oh yeah, I want to like work hard, you know. I see him exercising, looking after his physical health, like, oh yeah, I'll do that, you know. But I feel if I saw my dad, you know, like smoking all the time, drinking all the time, I would do the same thing, you know. And I think that's the cool thing about having a father figure, you know, and why they're so important, and parents in general, you know. But there is a special connection, I think, between a man and his boy, you know. There is that sort of you know, do what I do and all that sort of thing, which I think is really special. But I think it's awesome that you were able to, at a young age, you know, 16's a young age, to take the lessons that your dad had taught you and shown you in an example that, okay, this is what you should do to, you know, be a good young man and things like that, which is really cool. Like leading into the future, man, like what is next for you as like a rugby player to start out with? You know, like where are you going to go with this crazy journey?
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But I have jumped to an opportunity down at Otago, and I'm gonna kind of just go through the system and the process for the next 3 years. Obviously with the academy, and I'm just seeing where rugby kind of takes me. Obviously I have a few goals that I want to smash out long term. And also week to week, but I think going down to Otago was probably the best decision for me. Obviously, studying being a big part of who I am today. Mixed with rugby as well, so it was a good mix. And yeah, like I said, it was a big opportunity that I wasn't going to turn down.
Definitely, bro, definitely. And like you'll have to once again balance that schedule of like rugby. And you were saying might have been a few weeks ago that you're training mornings and nights or something like
Yeah,
that, and
yeah,
like, you know,
some
you got to
crazy shit
study
like
around
that.
that and things like that.
Yeah.
Like that'll be obviously tricky. But you're staying in the halls, eh?
Yeah, I'll be staying in the halls.
Yeah,
For the first year, and then
Beautiful,
I
bro.
kind of
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes from there.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
But like I said, yeah, it'll be really a challenge in itself. However, talking to the guys there, they're really on board and helping some of the boys because a lot of us are coming down to study as well.
Definitely, bro.
So the training system will fit around that. Which
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky.
No, that's awesome, mate. Like, I think the cool thing about universities is like, I kind of have a back and forth relationship with university. Like, is it worth it? Is it not? But the cool thing, the two main things I like is university seems like to be a place where you can go and just take what you are already, like that sort of bright spark of a person, and just expand it in so many ways. You know, because it is a place to educate yourself, and the second part of that is it's a place to meet people and just socialize and be a young person while you're young, you know, before you have kids and things like that.
Yeah.
Just enjoy being young, you know. So like I think that's awesome in terms of the positives university offers you, you know, especially as a young man looking to further yourself because you want to get into business and things like that.
Yeah,
don't you, right?
it's something that I've always wanted to do. Obviously, my grandfather owning a few businesses back home. So yeah, I think that if I can get in and get out with my degree, I'll be able to open a door of opportunities that I'm really excited for.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. No, that's fantastic. Hey, like, what's it like? Because you started out in Rarotonga, right, and you moved to Australia and New Zealand. Like, does the travel around as a kid, like, does that affect you or not really? Like,
No, I wouldn't say it affected me. The way I saw it was a new challenge.
Definitely.
Obviously, being in 3 different countries on a year-to-year basis wasn't easy. But no, the travelling didn't really affect me. It was the fact that having to start again.
Meet new people and things
Yeah,
like that.
meeting people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously going down to Dunedin won't help.
Yeah, bro.
But
Always on the move.
yeah,
Oh,
but I quite enjoy the travelling. I've done a bit of travelling
definitely. Yeah.
over the past couple of years. So it's an exciting opportunity and to be able to see the world in a different perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was a challenge. I wouldn't say that it affected me in any way, but it definitely was a challenge that I was up for.
Definitely, bro. Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. I think that's the cool thing about you is you seem to have this like really annoyingly positive attitude towards everything. You know, like I'll ask you things like just when we're walking down the street or things like that, like on the rugby field, and everything's just so positive. You know, and you have this insanely positive attitude. And we were talking before, weren't we, about like my dad saying to me when I was year 7 or 12 years old or something like that, like, yo, life is about the attitude you have. You know, like life will constantly throw problems at you, and like if you can have a positive attitude looking towards everything, then like I think, you know, you are already doing some fantastic things just by solely having that attitude. You know, because you were talking to me mid-year about like being stressed out and things like that. You were always positive about like, yo Tom, like it's hard now, but man, I'm gonna get through this, I promise. And like it was just the coolest thing to see. And I really think it's awesome how you as a young person can come over from a different country and come into a school, but not just come into a school, but almost make an impact in a small community, you know, which is really cool. Obviously, you're not like some international celebrity, but at the same time, in a small community, like being a community man, that's what's really cool. And you came in and you have this really good ability to socialise with people, and I think that's fantastic, because you just came in and the next day it's like everyone was your mate, you know, and things like that. And obviously, there's always people that might, you know, not like you and things like that, but that's part of life, you know. And we were talking before that it's more of like it's an insecurity if someone sort of spends time hating you or thinking about you, you know, because it's their loss, you know, because at the same time it's like, yo, like if you really hate me, that's I feel bad for you in some sense. And but like it's cool that you can come over here and do all these cool things like work a part-time job, become a deputy head boy of a school, you know, be a really good rugby player, and it all comes back to that positive attitude, you know, which I think is fantastic, man. Like,
yeah, I think in terms of having a good mindset, that's something that I've always worked on, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I do get it wrong sometimes, but someone did tell me that you will fail more than you will succeed, and I've always kept that at the back of my mind, knowing that like there will be challenges that you won't overcome.
Absolutely.
But instead of it being like a loss, it's more of a learning opportunity, and yeah, that person who told me that, like, it's always stuck with me, and that played a big part and the attitude I had was obviously like you are stressed as a teenage schoolboy now trying to crack it big in union now.
Yeah, man.
Trying to do as best as you can in the books. But yeah, definitely knowing that there is another day, another opportunity to learn, and I think the more you put yourself through tough situations, that does build you for bigger things.
Definitely, bro.
And I think that's important.
Definitely, bro. No, that's fantastic. Hey, like, as you say, bro, it's just about like another day. You know, the sun will come up tomorrow. You just push through another day. Do you want to wrap up, or you want anything else you want to mention? Like, what do you?
Yeah, I just had a question for you.
Yeah, bro. What's up?
Obviously,
Flipped it.
yeah, the great guy you are. What kind of saying do you live by? What kind of gets you up in the morning? Because I do know you like to get up early in the morning.
Yeah, bro. I'm an early riser.
So what's your drive?
My drive, bro. Damn. I don't know, man. Like, I think in terms of like quotes and things like that, I've never been a huge quote guy.
Yeah.
But there is one quote that I did find like once, and it just said like, my mum and my dad worked too hard for me not to be successful, and it's just like it was a picture of a mum like doing up this little 4-year-old's like suit jacket or something like that.
Yeah, I love that.
That just struck me because it's like I have this theory that like 90% of who I am is my parents. You know, like I appreciate everything they've done for me. I'm insanely humbled and so grateful for everything, you know, that they've given me. So I think it's just like because they've put me in a position for that, I can now be like, I don't have problems that a lot of young people have, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm very aware of that. But because I'm in the position I'm in, like, it's kind of like, yo, I think people are just so fantastic, and I just want to help every person get to a stage where like they feel complete with their life, or that they're at least chasing something in life, because that's when the heart's beating, you know. It's like you're getting up, and it's like it's not hard to get up. That's what I want for people, is like they get up every day and it's like, yo, I'm chasing something, I'm chasing a goal, I want a pay rise, you know, I like that guy over there, you know, he's cute, I wanna talk to him, you know, definitely. Like anything, you know, I wanna get my line out, throw a bit, or whatever it is, like I want people to chase a goal, you know, because when you're chasing that goal, you're just alive, you know. So if I can help anyone just feel that sense that I've felt that feeling before, of like, man, I'm just in my zone, I'm just in my zone, like I feel good. So I just want that to wish that upon people, and I want people to feel that, because it's amazing feeling, you know. And I just think people are so amazing, man. Like 150 years ago, none of this existed, you know. Like we didn't have plumbing, you know. We didn't have anything. Like, it's crazy. And
always come a long way.
Just to be grateful for that, you know. So like, I think now that we're at the stage where humans are no longer surviving for life and things like that, we can actually work on goals. Like, you can go to a gym and actually work on your fitness. Yeah. It's not like getting up and just got to go hunting, come back, rest again. Like, you can go to a place and get your nails done. Like,
that's crazy.
You can go to a place and get your nails done. Like, that's so cool, you know. So I think it's one of those things where I could talk about it forever, but it's just like I'm just extremely grateful for where I am in life, and a huge thank you to my parents for putting me here, because they work hard, and all my family, you know, and all my friends. But yeah, it's just been grateful for everything that I have, and now wanting to kick forward and like help people. I love problem solving, and I love seeing people improve. So I think that is the ticker, you know, that I love. So yeah, definitely, bro.
No, I think that's just a spitting image of the person you really are, whether it's behind the cameras or on camera. So well done, good answer, and yeah, thanks for having me on the Tom Talks, and I'm definitely excited to see how far this goes.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jermaine, for coming on. Obviously, this first Tom Talks we've ever had.
Let's go, baby.
So huge thank you for all you guys who've listened. We're going to wrap up now, but Jermaine, before we do, can you just, if you want, tell them your socials, if they want to follow you on Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll drop my Instagram and Snapchat down below with the comments. We can reference, that way you won't get it. But no, once again, big thank you.
Cheers,
honestly, means the word to be able to be the first person that you bring on as your podcast. Like I said, you have a bright future, and I know if you work hard for it, anything's possible.
Cheers, bro. Thank you. Well, yeah, obviously we're young, and you know, we've got plenty of time. But no, obviously, thank you guys again for listening in. We're available on YouTube, Spotify, and hopefully by the time this is out, Apple Podcasts, but definitely Spotify and YouTube. Just search in Tom Lindsay, and then under that we'll have a series of Tom Talks as the podcasts. And then on my Instagram I'll post like what I look like on my profile picture and things like that, so you guys know what one to click on while we're still small, but we're going to grow it. And lastly, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, this podcast channel is set up for you. It's set up for largely the North Canterbury community to come on and talk about anything you like, and over time we might expand it, you know, if we get larger. But if you have anything you're passionate about, anything you're expertised in, anything you want, message me on at Tom Lindsay, and we'll hit something up. But for now, thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Cheers.